everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dinky and I'm a lawyer working in Dubai. This is my very first video on my channel, and first of all, I had never thought that I would ever make a channel to talk about the profession, the legal profession, or the opportunities that we can explore as a lawyer. But the amount of questions that I have received from the last 6-7 months on my social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, I realized that why not start a YouTube channel and answer all your queries in detail, because since I've shifted to Dubai, I've been getting a lot of queries as to can an Indian lawyer actually work in Dubai? So let's get started with the video. Let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I did my graduation in BBA LLB Honours from Amity University, Haryana, and I graduated in the year 2021. So my course was an integrated degree and it was for a duration of 5 years. So I got specialization in both business administration as well as laws. So during these 5 years, as a part of my curriculum, I did internships for every year for a duration of 1 or 2 months, depending upon the amount of holidays or vacations that we used to get. And during those 5 years, I made sure that I get exposure of all the fields, including litigation and the corporate. And I did my internship in district courts, high courts, Supreme Court, and different law firms as well. So my very first advice to all the law students who are still doing their graduation would be to utilize the internships in the best manner possible and gain experience about all the fields so that you get an idea about which field incites you the most, whether you want to go for litigation or you want to go for the corporate side, you want to practice in intellectual property rights, or whatever field you want to opt once you graduate. So this will help you get an idea about what you really connect with, because it's better to pursue your career in something that you actually feel connected to rather than going for something that all your other friends or peer group are. So this was a brief introduction about myself and how I chose my career. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get started with the questions that I will be dealing. So the very first question and the most frequent question that I get is, can Indian lawyers actually work in Dubai? Because a lot of law students and lawyers who are currently in India have this thing in mind that is it possible as a lawyer or a law student who has graduated from India to work in Dubai, that is the United Arab Emirates? The answer to this question is yes, it is possible. Although you cannot practice litigation here, because litigation is something that only the Emiratis are permitted to do, that only Emiratis can practice in Dubai courts and all other courts of all the other Emirates. But there are other fields of law that you can explore, such as the commercial laws, the intellectual property, corporate sector, contract drafting, and all these other fields that do not require you to go and present your or represent your client in front of the courts. So yes, you can come here and pursue your career if you are not particularly looking for litigation and you're open to exploring other fields of law. Second question is, what skills are required to come to the United Arab Emirates or any other country and pursue your career as a lawyer? First and foremost thing is, you have to be very, very, very good in drafting, because drafting is something that international firms actually look for, because since you are not practicing in courts, you cannot represent your clients. Drafting is one of the major fields that you can opt for, because drafting, be it contract drafting or any kind of documents drafting, legal drafting, drafting skills are something that go a long way. And it is a very important skill set that you can imbibe while graduating, because this is something that comes with time. It's not something that can happen overnight, that you just do a particular course and you get a knowledge about drafting. This is something that takes time, and you have to be consistent with your language, your legal English. You have to have knowledge about how you should phrase your sentences to have a good interpretation. And that is something that you can start with and you can pursue during your graduation. Now, the second and another most important skill is communication. Now, no matter how much we say that English language is not a judging factor to determine what capabilities or qualities a person has, But let's be honest, if we have to work in the international market, we have to have good communication skills, and we have to be able to represent ourselves, and that can only be done if you have a good command over your language. You're able to communicate properly and present your ideas in a way that other people can understand, and you are able to understand your client's problems also. So another important thing that you should have is good communication skills, and that not only involves speaking skills but also listening skills, because as lawyers we have to understand what our clients' requirements are and what they expect out of us. So that's very important that we are able to understand their needs. Now the third thing is good understanding about law. We have been studying Indian law over our 5-year course duration, but when you come to the international market, you have to study the laws of the country that you are pursuing your career in, along with other international laws, other international trade laws, because when you deal with different countries or different companies coming from different countries, you have to be able to understand the laws of those countries. Because if we are studying the Indian law in law school in our home country, we are getting a knowledge from our teachers as to how we have to study the law so that we can interpret and understand what the law actually means. So that knowledge you have to have, because nobody is going to come here and teach you that this is the law in UAE or this is the law of the UK or the USA. You have to study their law, and you have to understand that this is how different it is from our Indian law and how similar it is from our Indian law. And that can only come if you can read the law, you can understand it, you can interpret it, and you can use it. Now, another most frequent question that I get is, how can we get a job in Dubai? So having a very good resume is the very first thing that you should consider having, because your resume is something that will have the first impression about you in front of your recruiters, because you're not going to be directly called up for an interview. That one page, we often say that one page resume cannot define or cannot describe our future, but when it comes to getting jobs and applying for jobs, a good resume is something that actually has a very good impact, because that is the first thing that the employer will notice, and you have to represent your skills, your knowledge, and everything that you have gained, all your experience in that resume, so that the employer or the recruiter knows that you have the required skill set and you can do the job in a good manner, so that they can call you up for interview. The second most important thing is a recommendation or a referral. Now, even if you have a good resume, it might not end up being noticed, because companies or firms here get multiple resumes every day, and it's very difficult for them to scrutinize or look at all those resumes in detail. So it's very important and very helpful actually if you get a recommendation or a referral from a person who is already working here or has worked here and has good connections in UAE, so that they can actually recommend you and forward your resume. So it's good that you get a recommendation, but if not, you can always search for good opportunities and share your resume in a manner with the cover letter that it gets noticed and it has an impact on the recruiter. The third most important thing is searching for opportunities that actually match your job profile. Now, I have often seen people just apply for jobs with the same resume, multiple jobs, but that is not how it works. Every firm has a different set of requirements, and every job profile in a firm also has a different set of requirements. So if you are planning on using one resume for all the job applications that you are going to send to the recruiters, that is not going to help, because you have to some way or the other, you have to mold your resume in a way to match the skill set that are required for a particular job vacancy, and that is how you can actually get noticed and shortlisted for a job interview. Now, fourth is, if you are selected for an interview, how you should prepare yourself, that I will be dealing further in my videos, because cracking the job interview is also very important, because that is the second step that comes if your resume is good and you are not able to qualify for the interview, the good resume also will not help, because interview is something that will actually determine whether you will be able to get a job and whether you'll be able to impress or stand out in front of the employers or the recruiters. So that is something that I will be dealing shortly. But cracking interviews is another important thing. So let's discuss about what platforms you can use. I personally feel that LinkedIn is a very good platform if it in terms of getting or looking for vacancies worldwide, not just UAE or India. You can look for vacancies, you can apply the filters, and you can search for vacancies in different countries. So LinkedIn for sure is a very good platform where you can search for jobs. Then there is another platform, Naukri Gulf, on which the UAE companies actually post their vacancies. So you can create your profile on Naukri Gulf. I think it's a part of the Naukri.com that we have in India. It's region wise, it's Naukri Gulf. So for GCC countries and the Gulf region, they have Naukri Gulf. So you can create a profile there, and it's very important to keep updating your profile. It's not that like resume, it's very important to create a updated profile on LinkedIn, Naukri Gulf, Indeed, or whatever platforms you are using, because when you update your profile, your most recent experience is something that is firstly noticed. Because once you have done your graduation, obviously the employer will not be concerned about how much you scored in your 12th standard or your 10th standard, and they'll be only concerned about your graduation. So this is because that's the most recent thing that you have done. So similarly, if you are creating your profile, it's very important to keep on updating your profile with new set skills that you imbibe, with new courses that you do from time to time, to be noticed when it comes to shortlisting. Now, the last question for this video is what salary expectations you should have as a fresher when you come to UAE. Now, that actually depends upon various factors, and I'm giving a disclaimer that this is not something that everybody would get, because it basically depends upon the skills that you have, or the experience that you have in India or during your graduation, whatever internships you have done. But as a standard, I can say that 5,000 dirham to 8 to 9,000 dirhams is something that firms usually offer here to lawyers, because law is a very good paying job in UAE, because everything here happens according to the law, and all the firms or all the businesses that are being set up here actually need a lawyer, because everybody in UAE want to function within the ambit of the law, and nobody wants to break the law or do something that is beyond what is permitted. So lawyers, the legal profession is very much in demand in UAE. So getting a salary range of 5,000 to 8 to 9,000 dirhams is something that you can expect. But again, it depends upon a lot of factors, including your skill set, your experience, or the firm itself, like how much the firm is willing to pay. But if we talk about a standard on an average, 6,000-7,000 is something that you can expect, which is a good salary as if you are starting as a fresher. And growth is always something that you get with your work. So this is something that you can consider. So that was all for today's video. I will be sharing more information and all the experience that I have got, the little experience that I've gained from the last 1 year I have been here. And as myself also, I'm a first generation lawyer and a fresher. I gained some experience, like I was working in India for 8 months, but that is also kind of a fresher only when you shift to a different country, because law, as we say, is different for different countries. Even if I'm dealing with commercial law or the corporate sector, I have to have knowledge about the local laws of UAE to be able to guide my clients or advise my clients about the transaction, about their commercial transactions or their business transactions. So I will be making more such videos to help you people, because I know that as law students, it's very important to get the right knowledge, and this is something that I will be dealing with. If you like this video, do give me a thumbs up, and if you have any further questions, you can always comment down below, and I will be dealing with all your queries in my upcoming videos. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a good day.